Hello and welcome to the Undressing the Spirit podcast, where sex and spirit go hand in hand. Join me, Tamara Powell, on a no-holds-barred adventure into the psyche and beyond every conceivable limit. Welcome back to Undressing the Spirit. I'm your host, Tamara Powell, and today I am welcoming back my incomparable, beautiful co-host, Alexandra Cavucci, for this series that we have entitled Cracked Open. You know, it's been a difficult season for plenty of people, and so we thought we should probably have a conversation about dealing with life's curveballs. How do you handle it when life tends to throw you a curveball? Are you the type that wigs out when your plans go awry? Or are you the type that tends to look on the bright side or take it on the chin or whatever positive advice that others may have given you? Hey, no judgments. Lord knows I have been dealt my fair share of ups and downs, and I certainly did not always handle it with the lady balls of steel and grace that I would like to think I did. And I'm sharing some of those with you today, as is Alexandra. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. Welcome to the Cracked Open series. I'm Tamara Powell.
And I'm Alexandra Cavucci.
And we believe that we're all really just shells hoping to be chiseled open so we can see the universe within.
We hope to pave the way for you if you're looking for a place to be cracked open, unraveled, and join us on this journey.
So we'll show you ours if you'll show us yours. It's volume 3 time.
Hey, hey, hey.
I just heard It's Bad Albert in my head. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
What up, world? So today, Alex, we are exploring curveballs.
Yeah, curveballs. We are, well, I know that I am sitting here in my pajamas getting cozy with you today. Yeah, you too. So hope everybody else gets cozy with us. Curveballs. Man, I had a curveball recently, a big curveball. First, I would like to ask you, what do you mean by curveballs? When you say we're exploring curveballs, what do you mean?
I tend to think when I get it in my cute little head that life's going to go a certain way, and then all of a sudden circumstances beyond my control put me back in my place to say, oh, yeah, there's a lot of other factors going on, Tams, than besides your fun little OCPD plans.
Yeah, and it's like 100% of the time, right? And we expect that the next time it'll go according to our plan.
Exactly.
And the next time it'll go according to our plan.
It never stops.
No, it doesn't. The universe bitch slaps us every time.
Yes. But that's something I want to get into with you today, too, is like, is there such thing as predestination? You know, because you know me, I'm all about a pluralistic worldview. And I find, I don't want to jump into it too quickly, but a lot of women just choose to sit down and not do shit because they believe nothing they do matters then. And I know you are just as big on responsibility as I am. So I can't wait to unpack all the things about, do we listen to feelings and when do we continue to take action and what are we responsible for? When it comes to curveballs.
So many good things.
It's going to be amazing.
So many good things. I'm really excited.
So that's what I think of curveballs. What do you think of?
Yeah, I think of, quite simply put, shit hitting the fan, right? Yep. Whether that's a really small thing, right? Like you're going to sign a client and they back out, or you know, your date cancels on you. Whether it's like something fairly minor in life, shit hitting the fan, or something major, right?
Or like your kid throws a fit at Disney World. Even Drew Barrymore's does. That made me feel so much better.
Oh, me too. I don't even have kids, and that made me feel better.
We're at the fucking happiest place on earth, damn it. Why are you crying on the floor?
Exactly.
That was not part of the plan.
I feel like I am that kid, though, half of the time. So I get her.
It's hot. I want ice cream, mommy.
Yeah, so I kind of quite simply see it as shit hitting the fan, and whatever that, you know what, I see it as like the feeling of shit hitting the fan, more so than the actual shit that is hitting the fan, right? More so than the actual event, that feeling of like, I am so disempowered right now and everything's going wrong, and that anxiety that kind of just, billows up, and that feeling of being out of control. That to me is, I think, what curveball means the most.
Yes. And that right there, that moment that you describe, I so agree. It's a pinnacle moment. That moment that we are going to unpack and explore today is where you can either change the trajectory or you're about to go down a nasty black hole. It is not a pretty wonderland down there.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I recently just had a major curveball. Well, my partner and I did in this past week. I'm finishing up a lot of things. I'm starting a marketing thing, and I'm finishing up NLP certification, and we're supposed to be moving to Maine in a couple of weeks. I'm going to 2 events very, very soon, one next week. So there's a lot of stuff moving and turning, right? And churning. And on Saturday night, my girlfriend ran up one of those warped walls, like the American Ninja Warrior. Yeah. We were at a trampoline park. We were just like hanging out, trampolining indoors, and she ran up a warped wall, and it was so fun. And she snapped her Achilles tendon, just like clean snap, right? So gross. And what resulted was essentially emotional mayhem in my head, probably on some level in her head, probably shock and like survival. But over the next few days, I noticed we were in the ER all night Saturday. And then I started to notice how much she actually does that she can now not do because she can't walk, right? And so by that, I mean laundry, grocery shopping, taking the dog out, all this other stuff, right? All of this stuff. Plus.
It's all you now.
Right. So I'm the one woman show now. Plus a couple extras like helping her out of the tub and this and that, right? Which I'm so happy to do. But what I noticed was this curveball really made me look at myself. Because, and I'm so ashamed to admit it, but it's true, I went into major victim mode. After Saturday night, Sunday, I was in like take care of my babe mode, right? Like call who I need to call, get to the ER, do this, do that, take care of everything. And then Sunday evening, I think it hit. We were grocery shopping and I had to, carry all the groceries or something. It hit. And I went into major victim mode. And I just like wanted to have a tantrum, right? Because this curveball to me meant I have no control. I have no time. I have no this. I have no that. I have, I am at the whim of something that I have no control over, right? And I went into major victim mode. Luckily, I've got the most wonderful girlfriend who calls me on my shit. And in a loud discussion in the car.
I like that euphemism.
Yeah. She, at one point she snapped and was like, why do you have to be such a victim? And it hit me. And I realized, as I have to realize over and over again, right? Because we all do, that we are always in control of, no matter how much we're out of control of, we are always in control of how we are responding.
Can I just say that you have used the word control like 30 times in the last 3 minutes?
I have issues. I have issues.
I just love that you're actually the perfect case study object lesson for everyone, because I'm constantly, as a therapist, describing to people have taken issue with this, and that's okay. But from my perspective, the reason people tend to get depressed and anxious is the feeling out of control. And depending upon their personality profile and their neurochemistry going on, they'll either lean towards the depression or the anxiety or psychosis, etc. But it all revolves around that beautiful little thing of control.
Control. It is such a bitch. Yeah, and so intoxicating. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I also think, the language we use gives a lot of insight to who we are and what we think. So you hit the nail on the
everything.
Head.
Yeah. It really is. And so for you, when you feel out of control, what are your first emotional reactions? The therapist to me wants to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Victim, right? Like, it is happening to me. Total victim. And Andrea and I have noticed that, she's very much a caretaker. I'm very much Leo, I'll say. And I love that attention and to be fawned over. And, she happens to fit the bill. And
Why you work so well on a good day.
right. And we started noticing over time that I would get quicker to victim mode because I got attention for it, because I got fawned over and I got loved and come here, baby, right? And we've been changing that pattern over the last few months of, no, call me on my shit, call me on my shit, call me on my shit, because I would love to respond in a different way. And my first reaction when I'm out of control is kind of like, oh, God, why me? This poor me type of thing.
Interesting, because girl, I go straight for the flamethrower. I don't. I mean, which comes from the same victim place, but again, this is like different presentations at times. I don't even have a moment of whining usually. It goes straight to grenade launcher.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you said that because I do too, but I thought we were going under that.
Oh,
I
well,
go
see,
angry.
you just dove deeper than I. Nope, I was still on my shallow side.
Yeah, no, I go angry. I get heated. Oh, I get angry. Like I just want to punch walls and throw things.
We may be the same woman then.
We may be.
Because I'm more of a like, how could this have been done to me?
Right.
I'm going to get back at you. I had a curveball thrown at me recently, not nearly as poignant as yours, so forgive the shallowness of my life.
Bring it on.
But I had purchased a course and was so excited about this new healing modality I was going to be using. And at the very last week of the course, the woman I had purchased it from had been notified that this modality that she had just learned had been trademarked. And no one was going to be able to use it unless they purchased it from the original person for like 5 times the price. And it wasn't even out yet. And I was instant rage at the woman I had bought it from, even though I knew it wasn't her fault, rage at, this woman. How dare she trademark her own shit? Of course she should trademark her shit. Good for her. I'm happy. But in that moment, I was just... My plans were going up in flames. My plans to, start this whole new wonderful thing. And I just want to talk about how when we give in to that anger, and I did for a minute, and I attempted to vent to someone else who I was hoping could stoke that fire. You know how we do that? We just want someone else to be like, yes, that bitch.
Like, bitch. Yeah.
Exactly. And I did not get that response. So then I had to call someone else because I was still looking for that response. I got it in the second one. And then what's interesting, though, is that sometimes we do just need someone to bear witness to the pain.
Yeah.
And so this is what I want to unpack towards the second part of our conversation together is how can we use that to our benefit, both globally and for our unique personalities. Because I do know myself, I just wanted someone to bear witness to my pain and say, that sucks, that's awful. And then I watched like the Hulk suddenly come back down into the whatever cute little J-Lo butt that is Tam's. And the clarity came back and went, okay, now what? Well, now I tweak things, and I did. But
yeah. And
anger first.
Yeah, anger. And I've noticed, I'm not sure how you have felt. I would love to know. I have felt a lot of shame about my anger. And I think one thing that I've noticed that in order to shift the anger, I've got to also respect it, right? Respect, okay, you know what? This is my pattern as of now. And I got angry. I'm angry right now. I hear it. Like somebody hear me. I'm angry. And as you said, when something or someone can bear witness to that, even if that's ourselves, right?
Yes.
We can then start moving to a new space. Because I think for me, some anger for me has been tied to like not feeling heard or seen. And so it's, if I try not to hear or see the anger, I just perpetuate it.
Absolutely.
Right? And then it's harder to shift. And so has your experience been one of feeling like shame for your emotions or shame for the way that you react or shame for I should have done this better, I should have known better, I should have reacted better? Or are you pretty understanding of yourself?
Total Gemini, depends upon the day.
Yeah.
There are some days that I'm proud of it. I'm like, yes, look at me, an empowered woman, allowing myself to have feels. And then on other days, it depends upon my reaction for other people. So that's where I'm more careful of, is how much am I looking for other people to validate that it's okay for me to have my own feelings, because it's still considered unfeminine, fuck gender roles. It's still considered not a nice girl thing. And yet I know as a therapist that there's a reason we have anger. Anger is a motivating emotion. It is evolutionarily, or creation, don't care, designed to get the blood to an oxygen where we need it and to get us ready to do something. And so what I train people to do is to, pay attention to it and go, oh, hey, brain, you're trying to get creative for me. What else you got?
Right.
How can I use this, rather than being like, oh, that's ugly. I shouldn't. Girls don't get angry. Girls just take nice girls take it. Nice understanding. How about this one, Alex? Spiritual girls.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Spiritual girls just look for the hidden meaning in things and take it on the chin.
Yeah, or replace that with like, but I'm positive, or but I'm a mindset coach, or I'm in the personal development industry, right? And that can bring a lot of shame on people for how they feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of shame with my anger. I mean, I carried my anger from, young, age 14, stuff going on in my family, to probably like the pinnacle of it was in my early 20s. And it doesn't plague me anymore. It is still that woman that has my back, like, what's up, Alex? You want me to fucking do something about this? She still comes in, but I hear her now and I get her and I love her. And that is what has allowed me to put a space between a lot of situations in which I would have normally lost my shit.
I'm so glad you said that, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners, their instant go-to is probably not anger, but
right.
Maybe they get paralyzed with fear. Maybe they instant reaction is to cry. Maybe their inner victim is one that, she's been so hurt in the past that this just shuts her down and isolates her, and she gets depressed or, like I said, frozen in anxiety. And so regardless, I think the most powerful thing they can do is to offer that self-compassion at first, right? And then be like, what is my emotional field? What is my psyche attempting to help me with? That's why those emotions come up. They need to be borne witness to.
Right.
So they can shift. The clarity doesn't come until you go through them. That's the shitty part. I know, guys, but it just is what it is.
Right. And it the more you go through it, the more quickly it comes. And the more it becomes a friend. And whatever your preferred method of freak out is, whether it's crying or shutting down or anger,
blowing shit up.
Right. The more you ask yourself, okay, where is this coming from? What am I not hearing? What am I not understanding in myself? What's going on?
And don't overstress that even.
Right.
Like, I get some clients that they'll spend weeks in that mode, journaling and journaling and journaling. And I'm like, all right, baby girl, like sometimes
we don't need to do that. Right.
Sometimes there's no constellation of meaning here. Sometimes we just need to do.
Right. Yeah. Totally with you. I think it's really a balance of learning yourself, right? That's what it's learning to understand. Like, do I need to journal on this, or do I need to just like, all right, now's not the time. Like, what do I want? Right. And it's really a balance of.
Yes, balance. They're both great. Just don't get stuck in either side.
Totally.
I love that you said faster too, that it comes faster, because I also know as a neuroscience geek that the half-life of any emotion, like neurotransmitter that our brain then interprets as an emotion, is only 90 seconds.
No.
90 fucking seconds.
It's nothing. I know.
It could either be, and I'm hoping it is, your most empowering thing you hear today, or I know, like me, you're probably going to be frustrated at yourself going, damn it, I could have been done with this tantrum in a minute and a half.
Yeah.
As long as you don't send out another thought about it. That's it. You have to, the faster that you bear witness to the feeling and shift it, the faster, my loves, you can get back into that clarity mode, back into the it is Bruce Banner, right? Yeah, Bruce Banner, not the Hulk.
Yeah. And that is where you want to be. Yeah. That's the spot.
So what happened for you this week, Alex? Because I know there was a shift after the freak out, after the loud discussion.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself in clarity, and what did you end up choosing to do?
I surrendered like a mofo. I surrendered. I just,
Like a mofo, she
I
says.
surrendered like a mofo.
So there's still a boss in that. I surrendered, but I did it like a
Yep.
motherfucker.
Yep.
Well done.
I keep in mind a lot of this is also a lot of what I was going through is also exhaustion, right? There's an element of your body really just being like, I need rest. I cannot do one more thing, and I'm tired. And we were in the ER all night, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But once I surrendered, and by surrendering, I said, all right, what if this is happening for me? What if this is meant to happen? What if this is something that's going to help me? I reframed. What if, we had to cancel our summer in Maine for Andrea's clinicals. And ironically, the place where we were going to live canceled on us the day after this happened without knowing that it happened. And so I said to myself, what if the universe is saving our lives? What if this is going to introduce me to somebody that I need to talk to? What if, right? And so I kind of just started cracking open new what if situations and just surrendering. And once I did that, I started at least feeling like my power was coming back, right? I started looking at, all right, what are the things that I actually need to get done? How can I do that? How can I make sure everything works? And if it doesn't work, how can I make sure that I don't beat myself up? And I think once I kind of went into that surrender mode and stopped choke holding control, that's when things started flowing.
I love that because you literally, nothing, your external circumstances had not changed yet. Nothing had changed.
Right.
Her Achilles heel was still broken and torn. That just gives my...
It's so gross. I know. She's like, feel it.
Yeah. No, I don't want to. No, it's good. It's good. I love you, though. Love you from over here.
I love you so much. Don't touch me.
Exactly. Your summer plans had shifted. None of that fun. But you literally went from an internal state of paranoia, why is this happening to me, to pronoia. Maybe the universe is on my side. Maybe it really does have my back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I find it so fascinating that that's where the human psyche goes, oh, and now I'm able to get up and do something again.
Yeah.
Even though you had been able the whole time.
Totally. It's so funny the way that we work that way, which is sometimes frustrating, but also really empowering. Like I can get to that state when I need to, when I want to, when I desire to.
When I choose to.
When I choose to. Ooh, bam.
I like that because it puts me in control again. See?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, I see why dominatrixes are a thing.
Yeah.
I am not one, but I know some professionally, and I get why they're drawn to that work and why the people go to them as well, because playing with choice is a fun thing.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing that whole analogy and where it goes for us in that moment, that when we choose to, act like the universe is all against us, we're almost wishing extra humiliation upon us, and not in a fun sexual way.
Right.
And, when we choose to take back the whip.
Right. Use the whip on the universe. Use
the whip. Yes. Then, wow, it's amazing what you can get accomplished.
Yeah, it is. It's really phenomenal. And, I bounced back and made a lot of progress in business yesterday and really showed up powerfully. And a lot of people have reached out to me. And I think it also speaks to that concept of what you are putting out, you will see mirrored to you, right? Whether positive or negative, whether energetically or just because people are responding to your resting bitch face, right? Like what you put out usually will meet you halfway.
Every time. To me, this is why even the Christian Bible talks about you reap what you sow.
Right.
And a lot of paths talk about karma, although please, side note, Tam Soapbox, karma does not happen to you in this life. It happens after you die. So you're storing it up for yourself. So when someone walks into a door after they've been an ass to you, that's not karma.
Right.
that's,
Right.
that's something else, my loves. Anyway, language, it's a thing for me.
Love it.
But just there is scientific proof on that. Self-fulfilling prophecies are a thing. And this is why I know you and I are so big on working with our clients and helping them see from a different perspective. Because then the rippling effects after that are either what you want or more of the shit you're hating right now.
Right. Right. And I noticed that, yes, we do this a lot with our clients. I've noticed some clients and people in general who know this and still stay, almost choose like whatever.
That's, say it.
Whatever.
Say it,
That's
be
not,
the bitch, say
you know, like they choose to be that victim. And I think that there's something. I think that there's something very alluring about being the victim.
Oh, yes. Just like my anger is seductive, so is being the victim. Because from a psychological standpoint, when I choose to go into my victim part and when I choose to go towards depression, I'm allowing myself to not have to do anything.
Right.
And this is why even your depression, your anxiety, your mania, all of that can actually be useful. That's why our body has it. Does it glitch for some people? Yes. And certainly some of us need medication. Some of us need a little extra therapy. However, for the vast continuum at large, there's a good reason why it's there. But if you choose, and you do choose, my love, and I can say this with so much love and compassion, when you choose to stay there, it's because you don't want to have to move, or it's scary to move, or fill in the blanks. But it is absolutely a choice. And that's where I either lose clients or hopefully we start to see an upturn.
Yeah, really big stuff happening.
Yeah, but think about it. Let's think about the opposite for a second, Alex, because you talk about responsibility all the time. It's one of the things that first attracted me to you. I was like, yes, this coach gets it. Is why do women get stuck there? And what happens when she's unwilling to make a choice? Why is it so important that we grasp onto the fact that it is a choice and that we have the responsibility?
Yeah, I think empowerment aside, as much as it seems like it's not empowering to have to do all of these things, it is incredibly empowering, right? But additionally, first of all, when we're babies, we get what we need by crying and essentially playing the victim, right? We get what we need. We get our needs met when we are screaming out, help me, help me, help me. So on the one hand, I think a lot of people are conditioned. Oh, when I cry, when I scream, when I get hurt, when I this, somebody will come to my rescue, right? Not the case for everybody, depending on family situations and background and whatnot. But usually the case is baby cries, child cries, kid gets hurt, someone comes, right? And so we carry that.
Why should women be happy about the fact that it's always their choice? That whether she's choosing to use the victim mentality to stay in her depression or her anxiety or her anger, like when it's seductive, like why is it important that she grasp onto the fact that she's choosing that thing? Because we're really rubbing people right now.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I want
to bring it home. Yeah, I want to bring it home for them. Why this is actually the greatest gift we could ever give them as coaches.
Because everything that you desire, everything that you want requires responsibility to receive, whether that is responsibility in how you respond to the world, whether that's responsibility in the actions that you take, whether that's responsibility in the conversations you decide to or to not have. When you take responsibility, you take control, and not in the sense of you can control everything that happens in your life, but in the sense of you can always maintain the feeling of being in control when you are operating from 100% responsibility. And it's usually in the feeling of being out of control that a lot of people suffer. A lot of people make up these stories. A lot of people this, a lot of people that. When you take responsibility, even if you don't want to, you kind of pump up your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of like go, look at me now. Look at me now. And I can confidently say that everybody, listening or not, wants to feel powerful, of purpose, meant for something bigger than they may be in the moment, right? People, we have an urge to be powerful because we are.
Absolutely.
Right? And so responsibility is that. It is coming home to that.
So good. So good. Just pass me the bourbon.
Does that answer your question?
That was delicious. Yeah, it does. I really wanted our listeners to feel, the love and the clarity and the comfort that comes from having responsibility. Responsibility scares people. And many of my clients, at first, I think this is normal, overcorrect and start shitting on themselves as if they're causing everything to happen to them. People who don't understand law of attraction and people who take Christianity as a weapon and have said, the reason my brother had cancer was because, someone was sinning or because God meant for that to happen. Like, no, baby girl, you've gone too far. Right, come back. Right. This is not so that every time you walk out the door and something bad happens, it's your fault. No, what we are saying is that so much of our lives are out of our control anyway. Because, my God, while we are powerful, you are still one component in this vast universe of butterfly effects. Come on now.
Right.
And the key here is that inner control. You get to decide how to respond, right? We've all seen those memes on Facebook. It's not about what happens to you. It's what are you going to do in that pinnacle moment that Alex was describing earlier? Where are you going to go with it? Because if you have too far of an external locus of control where things are just randomly happening to you because of everybody else, and ergo, there's nothing you can do to impact that, you're going to stay stuck in depression and anxiety or anger, whatever your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid is, forever. Conversely, if you go too far on the other side of the spectrum, my lovely, into too much of an internal locus of control where everything is my fault, you're also going to stay stuck. So balance. My favorite example that you and I talked about in a previous episode, is the Holocaust. I cannot think of a more atrocious time in history. There are other ones that rival it, but it's a huge global, millions of people murdered, just exterminated, just because, someone decided that they should be. And yet we've heard from from the survivors and from their families and from people who wrote books like Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, that even when he was in a concentration camp, the human psyche choosing to maintain control, like you can't take my spirit, you can't take my will. He exercised control as far as was in his control. Control as far as I can control. And literally ended up founding, in my opinion, the greatest form of psychology ever, existential therapy. Viktor Frankl.
And so important, right? And it's so powerful, even in the smallest moments when you're exhibiting it. It can be the most powerful thing.
So are we saying, Alex, that the antidote to curveballs is control?
I think we may be.
I love it.
Control of what we can take control of.
Yes.
Instead of trying to take control of what we're letting take control of us.
Whew. That's so beautiful. I just want to give the world like a collective group hug. Let's just have a virtual hug. If, like us, you've had an interesting few weeks, hugs, it will shift, but it will shift faster and faster, as fast as 90 seconds, apparently, if you maintain this balance. So with your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid, Alex, what works for you to get back to that? It's like a Snickers moment.
I know.
Have a Snickers.
Advertiser.
We should. Snickers, give us a call.
Yeah.
You could totally sponsor us. What works for you?
For what specifically?
When you first notice that you are out of control, you are in victim mode, how do you get yourself out for your particular personality? What works for you?
Yeah, great question. I first ask myself, what am I actually in control of? First of all, I breathe, right? I'm just like, I find the little tiny bit of minuscule space between the moment and the reaction. As long as I can find that, I can leverage. Find the space,
Yes.
take a breath, like step outside, whatever it is that I need to do to find the space. And then, I always just ask myself, what am I actually in control of right now? And a question I always ask myself in many facets of my life, this especially, is who do I want to be right now?
So good.
What about you?
I love the taking a breath thing. I'm definitely big on that for many reasons. If you want to think clearly, your brain needs oxygen, people. So,
Yeah.
and it's also a space creator. It's a way to kind of push the world away for a hot minute. I tend to internally caress those feels for a hot minute. It's important, especially if no one else is around. You talked about this earlier of just bearing witness to your own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I try to, it sounds trippy, people, but I even try to name them. What am I feeling?
Mm.
And then a quick why. And it may just be, I bought this course to use it. I had a plan.
Right.
Um, and then kind of talking back to myself and saying, you know what? That's okay to be mad about that. A lot of people would be mad about that. Like,
Right.
um, and then I, being a shrink, tend to look for other patterns in my life. Like when I start to catch myself being a little, even you talked about shame, being embarrassed that I was so mad. I knew I was giving into it. And I was like, what, why? Why is this such a big thing? Why is this hitting me harder than it would another day? Why has it taken me longer than 90 fucking seconds? And it was, oh yeah, because the last time that I spent this type of money on a course, it was to become a Reiki master.
Mhm.
And I learned that fucking Florida, you're a weird state for all sorts of reasons, um,
Florida.
does not allow Reiki practitioners to openly market their services and receive money for their services unless they are licensed massage therapists.
Florida is
And
strange.
I
Anyway,
know.
I'm
And
gonna close my
I'm not going to get my
state
clients
lovingly.
naked. Yes. So I wasn't going to go back to get my massage license. Nope, I'm a counselor. So I was like, there's a history here, Tams. This is why we're mad, because we spent a ton of money and we were excited about this modality. And it's just because somebody decided, somebody somewhere, it felt like it was being snatched back away from me. And so
Mm.
then I had something to work with. Oh, I don't like it when I feel like someone's taking from me. Well, who would?
Right. Right.
That's not fun. So bearing witness, going into the patterns, and then this is going to sound funny, but this is where I think spirituality is so important. Whatever your favorite version is, and this is powerful for every listener. You don't have to ascribe to any particular path, but when you connect with something outside of yourself, when you send up that quick little SOS signal, whether you are Sufi or Christian or Buddhist or just a yogi, who believes in non-dualism, that when we have rituals and paths, it's how the brain relaxes and it's how the brain gets productive again. So rituals are so important. So I'll often do something that works for me, whether it's meditation or chanting or going out and stamping my feet, who knows, in that moment, and just
Mm.
saying, all right, universe, this happened, kind of what you did, but I just have to trust that we can turn this around. I personally don't believe in predestination, but I do believe in the power of turning things around and using it for good. Breast cancer survivors who then go on to use their story to help other women caught up in fear. Rape trauma victims who start rape advocacy centers. I'm not saying everyone needs to become an advocate, but
Sounds
whatever
easy.
helps them feel purposeful in giving back. And so that's usually what I'll ask for. All right, universe, how are we going to use this? Show me.
Mm. Yeah, I love that.
That's my fave. And every time without fail, I have found a way to use Reiki in my business. And so I'm glad, and I can teach it. That's why I went all the way through the top. And with this course, once I had clarity and bore witness to my pain, I found ways of using the stuff that's not trademarked and integrating it in with the other stuff that I already do. And what's really, really cool is once I surrendered like a mofo, like Alexander did,
Mm.
I was contacted by both the original owner of it, who offered me like a huge discount on her course because I'd purchased it from someone else. And the woman who I'd purchased it from said she would attune me for free once she got licensed in it. So it worked out.
Surrender can be so powerful.
Right. And so in the end, I got to keep both.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Happy sigh.
Happy sigh.
Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners? Any love messages for them of that maybe they've been stuck in a really nasty curveball, even bigger than what you and I have talked about today? Or even just the minor ones?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that you are a process, and so is this thing called living. It's all okay. Even when it's not okay, it's all okay. Even when it feels like it's the end of the world, everything's okay because this is a process. And we're learning. We're all doing our best. And we're all trying. And so are you.
I love it. I would just add that it's okay to not be okay. And if you really do get stuck. Hello.
Opie wants to add.
Yes. Yes. That sounded very empowering. I was going to say, if you really do find yourself stuck, that needs to be okay too. And find a coach or a healer or a sacred mentor to share space with you, because there are sometimes I haven't been able to talk myself out and I just need another healer. I'm going to start crying thinking about it. I just need another healer to say, this is all right. Let me hold the energetic space for you until you're ready to start crawling again.
Yes, that is so powerful. And I love that you added that, because it is okay to not feel okay, right? It is okay to need help. I think all of us need help and deserve help.
Yep. Oh, so good. I adore you. I'm loving this.
Me too.
All right. Until next time, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Undressing the Spirit podcast. I pray you found some inspiration and titillation today. As always, I am forever grateful for 5-star reviews, comments, and subscriptions on iTunes and anywhere else you may be listening to this broadcast. Please note the information provided is not meant to convey professional, psychological, or medical advice. If you could use such services, I highly recommend seeking them out from someone you trust. To get in touch with me personally, please check out ariatherapy.com or talesfromatrapezoid.com. Until next time, everyone.